Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So for those who've seen my 6x10 poll on Yifa's banner, unfortunately I only did get the two 4.5 stars, which are Kikyo, which I upgraded right now.
Stop flexing, Dad!
And Bertrand 4.5, which I'll probably leave as a 4.5 until his AS version comes out. I did do a 5-star review of Kikyo when she first came out because at that time I had borrowed my friend's account and I got to try her out. However, I actually wanted to do a revisited 5-star review only because now that I got to explore and test her out on my own account, I can give a more accurate, I guess, opinion of her. So, the most important question of all is
she hot or not?
Well, she is a speed demon, so if you're into that, then she's definitely hot. Anyways, this is a unique 5-star in that a lot of her DPS is based off speed, and so you really want to equip gear and badges that really accentuate the speed. I believe she also benefits from power, however, speed is really where most of her 5-star moves shine. So you can see her Valor Chant, which is actually a very useful one. Wind type attack of all party members plus 35% and wind type resistance of all enemies negative 25%. Now the wind resistance debuff is pretty common for most of the 5-star units that we use for wind. However, the wind type attack boost for the entire party, especially as a VC, can really help your damage out, especially for mediocre teams and even for the top DPS wind teams in the game. So you can see the 3 moves I'm going with. Quiet Gale Slash is very useful in the fact that it does hit twice, and it is one of the 2 moves that boosts her speed 30%, and it is stackable up to 3 stacks. So you really want to get as many stacks of her speed, and I'll show you shortly why that is the case. Now the other move you can go with is the Miko Whirlwind. And so that again is to boost the speed of the users by 30%, again stackable up to 3 times. However, this one is a medium AoE, and so her other 5-star moves are already AoEs. I don't think this one is as useful, especially since the 2 times small can actually boost the AF bar a little bit more if you're outside zone. And so we're going to concentrate on the 2 5-star moves now. The Burst Wind Blade is a really cool one, Wind AoE, and summons a clone of some sorts. And the increased damage is based on the user's speed, which you can see. And it also doubles your attacks and avoids buffs, debuffs, and so on and so forth. So the great thing about this is that you're basically invulnerable. Your clone will take the hit for you if you get hit by any single attack. However, obviously, if you get hit by multi-attacks, you'll only avoid the first one. Now, the problem is that buffs and debuffs alike aren't able to be put on her after she summons it. So you really want to get the 3 stacks of the speed, or if you have any other characters that are boosting your Kikyo, then you want all those buffs before you summon the Burst Wind Blade. Now, this is a spam move after you get the Burst Wind Blade, which is the Crimson Cut Void, single slash attack, and then AoE slash attack as well. And you can also see this as increased damage based on speed. So your ultimate setup would be multiple stacks of the Quiet Gale Slash, which is up to 3 stacks, and then you cast Burst Wind Blade to get the clone, and then you spam this one. So that's almost 5 moves, and in reality, unless you have a protracted battle where you're getting multiple moves in or a longer battle, you really will only be getting 1 or 2 stacks of the speed before you're activating the Burst Wind Blade and then the Crimson Cut Void. Now, the good thing about all these moves, they are wind-based, and so if you are in wind zone, they'll all boost the AF bar the same amount, and so you can actually do quite a bit of damage that way. Now, I didn't talk about her 2 other moves. They're all useful for debuffing, so you have the power debuff and int debuff, but I don't think she's going to be used as that. She's really more there to generate DPS for your team. So this is for 5-star board, of course, and 5-star moves. I guess the fact that an offensive player does have some debuff capacity makes for pretty useful in terms of adjusting her skill set and her kit if required, or say your win team doesn't have any debuffs. Okay, in terms of Grasta, you really want to concentrate on power and speed, being that those both can accentuate your attacks. And we have even went with the Cat Lover special attack, which will increase her AF attack. So let's take her out for a spin. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me that way. So, being that she has a lot of AoE moves, she's actually more than capable of handling everyone on her own. So we'll just show you the 2 times hit, and that's obviously against weak enemies, no problem at all. And then we'll just summon the clone right there. And with a crit, 100,000 damage. So actually very powerful, even against someone who's not weak to that. One thing to keep in mind though, Kikyo's moves all use a tremendous amount of MP. So obviously if you have you know, a longer fight, she's going to run out pretty quickly. So hopefully you can end the game in, you know, a couple of turns, or like I said, you know, within 3 or 4 turns, and get her really set up to wipe the board with her multi-hit AoE attacks. And I would say in summoning her clone versus using her regular spam moves, they both cost the same amount of MP as well. So, you know, that's something to consider as well. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a battle damage analysis against Serene, being that Serene has an HP stopper, and we can really see the effects of stacking multiple buffs or debuffs on her, and as well as stacking multiple speed buffs on ourselves. So we're going to just go with a 2-turn to show you kind of in a shorter duration what the best case scenario would be. Bear in mind that you could actually opt to leave her in on the front line so she can get 1 stack of speed on herself. But in my case, I want to VC in because it boosts your wind damage by 35% for the entire team. And being that you do have AS Suzette there, as well as Morgana and OG Cloud, all of them benefit from that. In terms of turn 2, we're going to go High Wind Booster, and then we're going to use Stormbite, and keep in mind that this is OG Cloud with Manifest, so she has a speed and crit boost, and then we're going to do we're going to keep on getting the speed stacks, and then finally summon our clone, and then do as many hits as we can. So you can see that obviously AS Suzette is doing a tremendous amount of damage, but if you look at Kikyo's damage, 4 hits, and they're 400k each, which is actually very significant. So even just that, 46 million. And then we're going to just finish off Serene here. Watch 1 hit here from Kikyo. So she's faster than everyone else now that she's boosted a tremendous amount from her multiple stacks as well as from Claude. There we go. Just like that. 2 times 1.1 million, and obviously she would have gotten hit by another 2 attacks because the clone would have doubled that attack. Okay, so if you can get the ultimate setup, and you can see how much damage we're going to do here. And so I know that the logs are a very popular area to demonstrate your, I guess, multiple attacks, as well as building your AF bar and your combo meter at the highest possible to deal as much damage as possible. Now I realize my team probably isn't optimized for mega damage, although you can still see the numbers that we can generate with Kikyo and the rest of this team. Now you can feel free to leave comments below as to how I might be able to optimize this further, but in this case I'm not really trying to demonstrate the max damage because I know that people can already do 99999, you know, 9 nines, which is almost 1 billion damage even in global, and I don't think I'm close to that, being that I'm probably missing a few notable characters to really boost that damage and multiplier. Obviously when Lunatic comes out, especially the Lightning Lunatic characters, Victor, he can really do multiple hits, which will really help extend the meter, and you know, at the very end, each combo hit will do significantly more damage than the last. Keep in mind also that when you're doing it this way, you don't want a zone, because zones, when zones are in effect, each hit will only boost the AF bar by a fixed amount, as opposed to doing it this way where every hit adds a little bit to the AF bar. So you know, there are advantages and disadvantages to having zone in that case. If you're doing multi hits, especially against enemies who are weak, you're better off having outside zone to build up the combo meter. If you have less hits, then you're better off doing it within the zone. And finally, one last thing I will say about these logs, you really want to have 5 white logs because they're weak to everything essentially. In this case, we have one that's resistant to everything, but you know, the purpose of this is just to kind of show what kind of damage output Kikyo can do in combination with other supporting casts. So we're just going to set up here, just kind of make sure I got the right moves. We're going to go High Wind Booster. I think she still needs a couple more stacks, so we're going Quiet Gale Slash times 2. Now she has full 3 stacks, and then she summoned her clone, and then let's see how many hits those do. So it's going to be hard to see all those numbers, but you can see she's hitting 2 hits and then 2 hits. There you go, 1.5. And the numbers just keep on rising. And then, of course, everyone else is doing tons and tons and tons of damage. Also, feel free to let me know in the comments below how high you've gotten the combo meter, as well as your top damage against these lots. Now, bear in mind that if I had 5 white ones versus 4 plus this one, I'd probably increase the damage by about 20% or so. So keep that in mind as well. So we're reaching the 3 millions hits, and keep in mind that with Kikyo, you're actually getting 4 hits. Remember, AoE 4 hits. Well, not quite AoE 4 hits, but you know what I'm saying. AoE 3 hits, I believe. 286 million. Now, in other tests, when I did have 5 white ones, I think I got close to 400 million damage, like 385 million or so. So, just as a sample size, she is amazing on many wind type teams. And I will say that even though I was salty missing Yifa, I'm pretty happy to have her as an upgrade over, for example, Azami, which was currently my 4th unit on a wind DPS team. So in conclusion, if you do have the right speed gear on Kikyo, she can do lots and lots of damage. She can avoid hits if you really need her with a clone, so she can tank a hit for you, and she can really wipe the floor with AoEs, wind debuff obviously with her VC, wind boost with her VC as well. She can even do int and power debuff if you have no one else on your wind team to boot. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.